Alright, let's dive into something that's been buzzing in political circles lately: the Michigan Democratic Party's attempt to unite after a messy Senate primary. Here's the deal: Abdul El-Sayed just clinched the nomination in a nail-biter against Haley Stevens, and now the party's trying to patch things up before the general election. But here's what makes this really interesting: this isn't just about Michigan. It's a microcosm of the broader tension between progressives and moderates in the Democratic Party nationwide. Personally, I think this race is a litmus test for how well Democrats can bridge their internal divides in a battleground state, especially with control of the Senate on the line. What many people don't realize is that these primary battles often leave scars that are tough to heal, and how the party handles this could set a precedent for 2024 and beyond. Now, let's talk about El-Sayed for a second. He's a former public health official who ran a campaign that was, let's say, unapologetically progressive. His narrow win over Stevens, who had the backing of the establishment, highlights just how fractured the party can be. In my opinion, El-Sayed's victory is a win for the progressive wing, but it also puts him in a tricky spot. He's got to pivot from attacking his own party members to taking on Mike Rogers, the Republican candidate. If you take a step back and think about it, this is where the rubber meets the road: can progressives rally the moderate base, and vice versa? This raises a deeper question: is the Democratic Party capable of unifying when it matters most, or will these internal splits cost them in November? One thing that immediately stands out is the role of Haley Stevens in all this. She lost by less than 1 percentage point, which is razor-thin. Despite the bitter campaign, where El-Sayed called her the least capable candidate in America and she accused him of chasing publicity, Stevens has said she's willing to campaign with him. From my perspective, this is a smart move on her part. It shows she's putting the party's interests ahead of her own, which could help her politically down the line. But let's be real, after a primary that got personal, it's not going to be easy. What this really suggests is that even in the ugliest of political fights, pragmatism can still win out, at least in theory. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Michigan is a perennial battleground state, flipping between Trump and Biden in recent elections. This Senate race isn't just about who gets a seat in Congress, it's about momentum, strategy, and the future of the Democratic Party. A detail I find fascinating is the presence of Pete Buttigieg at the Unity event. As a potential 2024 presidential candidate, his involvement signals that this race has national implications. Personally, I think Buttigieg's attendance is a strategic move to position himself as a unifier, but it also underscores how high the stakes are here. If Democrats can't unite in Michigan, it doesn't bode well for their chances in other swing states. Finally, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Democratic Party is at a crossroads. Progressives like El-Sayed are pushing for bold change, while moderates like Stevens argue for a more pragmatic approach. In my opinion, this tension isn't going away anytime soon. What makes this moment so critical is that it's happening in a state that could decide the Senate majority. If Democrats can't find common ground in Michigan, it's going to be a tough road ahead. This raises a deeper question: can a party with such divergent factions ever truly unite, or are we just seeing the beginning of a long-term fracture? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: all eyes are on Michigan right now, and the rest of the country is watching.